Now that 2023 is coming to an end, we can conclude how our 2023 was as a year. The end of a year is a great time to reflect, and also a great time to implement goals for the next year. The Stoics advised us to always reflect on our lives and change what is holding us back. That's why in this video we will go over 15 things that if you did this year, you need to remove for not only next year, but the remainder of this year as well. We've just launched our new Stoic newsletter called the Stoic Lifestyle. If you want to join this newsletter, go to the pinned comment in the comment section and click on the link. Also, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe button if you want to watch more life-changing Stoic content. Thank you all for watching and enjoy. Number 1. Desire for wealth and luxury, as Stoic philosophers advise. Develop freedom from excess attachment to comfort, leisure, popularity contests, and possessions unrelated to virtue. Carefully examine whether you unconsciously seek riches, decadent privileges, and visible symbols of success, like flashy cars or yachts, primarily for manufacturing external validation of self-worth and feeding the ego. But true value and contentment spring instead from inward qualities, manifest through conduct, integrity, courage, justice, wisdom. This is not to condemn ambition through ethical work, which develops talents serving society, but question relentless chasing of commodities, merely glorifying luxury that often distract from nurturing character, ethics, and humanity in yourself and others. Simplify to amplify investing in these higher pursuits. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The more we desire, the more enslaved by cravings that can never be permanently satisfied. But consciously reducing over-attachment to comforts and applause liberates us to focus energy on meaningful relationships and purposes instead. The years ahead may require releasing over-dependence on external conditions for inner peace, as economic instability filters the consequential from superficial. Lay solid foundations now for thriving through future turmoil by strengthening self-mastery, moderation, and service. Let go attachment to fleeting things and superficial identities. What remains is what mattered all along. Number 2. Fear of poverty. Stress resilience through better managing expectations around stability of material conditions, market unpredictability, and finding contentment regardless of bank accounts. Carefully reflect on automatic assumptions that you couldn't bear, falling into diminished economic conditions through job loss or policies impacting industries. The more desperately we cling to current comforts as entitlements, the more anxiety-producing their impermanence. Develop healthy adaptability to bypass panic. Practice living below your actual means to build savings and self-reliance. Study minimalism and Stoic teachings on finding richness through character versus circumstances. Imagine rationally how you would respond to unwanted scenarios without catastrophizing. Then artfully build support systems. The years ahead may require flexibility if economic fragility impacts global markets and jobs. But those retaining perspective, crafting contingency plans, and focusing energies on community over chaos will transform instability into opportunities for renewed local connections. Step by step is the only way to advance without catastrophe. Slow, steady growth girded by sound ethics and reasonable management typically outlasts gambling built on speculation. Construct balanced lives wisely braced for turbulence through exercising moderation muscles daily. Storms too shall pass. Number 3. Fear of death. Reducing paralyzing fear of death itself through soberly yet compassionately reflecting on mortality's inevitability for all. Contemplate universal impermanence. Then redirect freed energy toward purposeful living and ethical legacy building instead of denial or despair. Carefully examine reflexive avoidance coping with aging or tragic loss of loved ones through suppression versus truly befriending death. Mortality haunts existence subconsciously when refused full reckoning. But embracing its inescapable reality steels us to urgently maximize meaning together in finite, precious time, left purposefully savoring. Visualize rationally your sunset years and final days with clear-eyed maturity to demystify them, robbing their power over imagination and choices made defensively appeasing imagined worst-case outcomes that postponed fulfillment, awaiting confidently on the other side of fear. We many not have tomorrow. Prioritize joyously creating, loving, and contributing today. While morbid fixations on decline produce suffering, relating with death transparently breeds compassion for all fellow fragile beings, navigating uncertainty and grief. Shared mortality makes life sweeter, community deeper through realizing each encounter's precious gift, needing protection and nourishment. Death teaches us how to truly live. As Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." No denial or hedging around hard truths shrinks death's eventuality one instant, but embracing impermanence strips trivial pursuits to lay bare how we wish, looking back, to have spent fleeting healthy hours. Let legacy ambitions guide actions now, then rest peacefully. Number 4. Negative emotions like anger, jealousy, and hatred. Carefully reflect on tendencies giving short fuses, resentment grudges, or envy loose rein through endless rumination. Are emotional wounds causing overreactions disproportional to actual triggers? Heal sensitivities blocking clear seeing. Release toxins harming you more than their targets through bitterness, steaming inwardly. Visualize rationally how obsessive negative emotions twist perspectives, making mountains out of molehills when egos feel threatened or insecure. Ground yourself instead in truth, versus swimming toxicity based on your own or others' illusions. Breathe through flare-ups with maturity before acting or withdrawing in ways you'll regret. The years ahead require retaining mental clarity and emotional regulation amidst political tensions or other conflicts dividing relationships and nations. But those overcoming reactivity through applied reason and willful compassion transform trying times into opportunities for reconciliation through leading by sober example. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Recall always the supreme power inherent for choosing peace rests within your own hands. Then extend them outward to lift others positively. Number 5. Desire for fame and recognition. Redirect from ego-appeasing external validation toward nobler ambitions serving community and principles. Carefully reflect on whether unconscious cravings for money, credentials, promotions, and spotlight applause drive behaviors more than virtues like courage, wisdom, and integrity upheld through adversity and obscurity alike. Adjust priorities centered on essence rather than appearances. Visualize shifting culture's narrow definitions of success away from materialism, wealth, and fame toward inclusive values like moral character, ethical business, and volunteerism, empowering lives. Lead through exhibited actions aligned with revitalized notions of greatness anytime, anywhere. The years ahead will challenge inflated attractions to clout, privilege, and hype in favor of grounding leadership in moral authority, humility, and gentleness. But those pioneering redemptive trajectories centered on intimacy and wisdom rather than ego leave enduring legacies still inspiring generations later. Applaud yourself for qualities beyond public notoriety like commitment to truth, maintaining dignity through misfortune and loss, impartiality to friend and stranger alike. Burnish timeless virtues making positive impact, scalable through any career without requiring validation or credit. Worthwhile work speaks for itself. Number 6. Complaining about things outside our control. Carefully reflect on mental tendencies ruminating endlessly about imperfect leaders, unfair systems, or someone else's offensive commentary that keep you embroiled reactively. Shift focus to your own accountable response rather than just emotionally spinning. Visualize flowing wisely like water around roadblocks, using leverage and logic to reroute advantageous paths without requiring universal justice or external support immediately. Inhale chaos, exhale solutions using wisdom, courage, and initiative to improve what is alterable. The years ahead require avoiding disempowered resignation when confronting volatile events like pandemics or wars that disrupt normalcy. But those proactively preparing contingency plans and banding communities creatively transform instability into opportunities. Where progress feels thwarted, patiently redirect steps elsewhere without wasting spirit blaming existence. Much lies within reach through disciplined vision and innovation. Forge ahead. Number 7. Dwelling on the past, let the horizons unfold beyond rear-view mirrors fixed myopically backwards. Carefully reflect on mental habits replaying old wounds, embarrassing moments, pining for phases once vital but now expired, or wishing fruitlessly to rewrite irrevocable history that cannot be changed. Then redirect focus forward. Visualize timeless wisdom gained from failed fortunes of bygone eras, lost love, youth, or missed chances. Honor them by consciously applying their lessons to empower more enlightened choices right now, instead of counterproductively fixating on what might have been. The present awaits your potential. The years ahead require retaining nimbleness to leave behind behaviors, systems, and assumptions unfit for unexpected paradigm shifts across climate, technology, and culture needing upgraded. But progress depends on building presently with awareness rather than getting left behind reminiscing past glories. As Marcus Aurelius emphasized, time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong as its current. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by, and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. Blink, and you miss now. But witness it fully, knowing each instant of consciousness passes singularly, then sinks forevermore unseen downstream. Where will you stand when futures arrive downstream? Prepare thoughtfully, act vigorously in the precious present. Number 8. Anxiety about the future. Growth involves reducing anxiety about unknowable future outcomes that overwhelm present moment opportunities for wisely co-creating realities aligned with values. Shift from paralyzing what-ifs to purposeful what-now action steps, building the world you wish inhabiting. Carefully reflect on mental habits, endlessly worrying about hypothetical disasters like financial ruin, terminal diagnoses, or lost loved ones that strangle fully engaging relationships and priorities, most meaningful before such feared misfortunes potentially arise to enforce difficult reassessment. Don't borrow pain from projected nightmares that may never even manifest. Visualize retaining everyday appreciation and presence with loved ones, despite recognizing impermanence one day separating you. Let mortality's inevitability consecrate your devotion to relishing time together now, versus fretting nervously over contingent tragedies, prematurely causing grief in imagination only. Death awaits without our beckoning. The years ahead require avoiding analysis paralysis around unpredictable disruptions like market volatility, political realignments, or climate events needing flexible adaptation. But those focusing efforts on community resilience rather than just anxiety over forecasts transform chaos into catalysts, revealing durable infrastructure and deeper social purpose, uniting all colors, creeds, and classes. Number 9. Judging others. Reflect on reactions targeting people rather than issues. If you find fault with leaders, groups, or individuals representing cultural diversity, easy to marginalize when refusing nuanced context beyond biases. Are offensive words or actions tied to ignorance from underprivileged upbringings? By grace, there go each of us. Visualize radical empathy as a superpower, reframing differences as strengths, conflicts as openings for mutual understanding. Approach all beings as wounded healers whose teachings emerge from suffering tempered for service. See mirrors rather than boogeymen in those you vilify. This begins cultural healing. The years ahead require unusual codes of conduct, rejecting clannish othering to build bridges of trust across polarized people, self-segregating into hostile echo chambers, breeding censorship and violence toward dissenting worldviews. But choosing openness and communication returns communities relationally disrupted by deafness. Hear each other. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you wake up, ask yourself, how can I help someone today? Your problems may not disappear, but you'll feel joy rising to greet the tasks required. Assume good intentions behind objectionable behaviors, then focus efforts on creatively humanizing rather demonizing those still learning, as we all stumble awkwardly at times, attempting wisdom and dignity against inner demons. Lead compassionately by kneeling first to assist underdogs, rather than racing to meet popular cheers, drowning their muted voices out desperately needing stage. See divinity in darkness waiting discovery. Number 10. Idle gossip and rumors. Carefully reflect on tendencies making claims without credible evidence or sharing hearsay anecdotes that unfairly caricature public figures, fellow citizens, cultures, or countries without conveying balanced truths, complicating stereotypes. Tell full, transparent stories humanizing experience. Visualize speaking cautiously to avoid misrepresenting reality through inadvertent oversimplifications, priming confirmation biases. Clarify limited knowledge scope if uncertain, and prohibit cavalier conversations breeding prejudice through fiery, bombastic language demonizing opposites. Cool reactivity patiently examining multidimensional issues. The years ahead require informed civic reasoning, diffusing reactionary power grabs justified through scapegoating conspiracies, stoking public fears and making vague villains of dissenting perspectives needing exposure beyond distortions to elucidate root causes fueling perceived threats now projected upon them. But light evaporates darkness once illuminated fully. Shine it proactively. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Recall always human knowledge remains perpetually unfinished, our ignorance infinitely eclipsing myopic comprehensions. So assert opinions humbly as working hypotheses, not apodictic claims on complex unknowns, and investigate beyond headlines seeking truth judiciously, even in strange speculative places untouched by newspeak gatekeepers. Their keyholes reveal slivers, not whole hidden realities. Question widely. Dismiss nothing reflexively without thorough, principled inspection, mantling you scientist and sage alike, empowering updated mental models. For effective adaptation awaits discovery on these outskirts, since mainstream normalcy shifts slowly. But old paradigms will rupture. Find new wisdom first. Then midwife rebirth across years destined redefining humanity's coming Earth era. Adventure progress requires adventure. Leap beyond comfort's complacency meeting destiny's dynamic call. The marathon stretching toward more promising peaks beckons. Onward hurtling history now turns inquisitive. Radical hearts yearning lifted vistas thy audacious imaginations. Map first lighting passage where others may tread later. Blaze trails. Cross bridges to foreign terrains bringing back rich spices of experience modern diets lack. Define frontiers. Expand them as you grow. So none who follow fall limited by boundaries blinding them to possibilities. Daring eyes lead first to spying. Now go and witness what comes. Number 11. Ingratitude and entitlement. Shift inward to earn through building rather than demanding or complaining. Carefully reflect on reflexes, feeling irritated or disappointed when results don't match wants, as if existing to indulge whims. Do you justified indignation or require protection, provoking from self-importance rather than ethical truth claims? Question beneath surface reactions. Visualize consciously cultivating daily gratitude for what is provided without preconditions already, then giving generously without transactional expectations of returned favors. Find fulfillment in service itself, rather than through obligating others as indebted and demanding payment by leveraging guilt angrily when unmet. The years ahead require relying less on unreliable external conditions ever fluctuating, instead nurturing inner resilience and flexibility to withstand disruptions that expose unwarranted entitlement when comforts we considered guaranteed prove otherwise. Build security from composure. As Marcus Aurelius emphasized, when you awake in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. Expect no entitlements from anyone, but also gift others patience and dignity, Their human fallibility deserves from you despite ubiquitous stumblings. For there too, by chance, misstep goes each of us given alternate circumstance where excuses offer no shelter from similar judgment. So lead first with tolerant compassion, raising culture's empathy for lives all less perfect that preferred. Number 12. Self-pity. Visualize flowing wisely like water around roadblocks, using leverage and logic to reroute advantageous paths without requiring universal justice or external support immediately. Inhale chaos. Exhale solutions using wisdom, courage, and initiative to improve dilemmas where able. Melt perceived chains by testing tensile strengths compared to determined spirit. What shackles when alternative roads roll open? The years ahead require avoiding disempowered resignation when confronting volatile events like pandemics, wars, or strikes, shattering normalcy. But those proactively preparing contingency plans and rallying cooperative communities often transform instability into catalysts, revealing durable infrastructure and inspired social purpose, uniting all classes creatively. Lead congregations beyond tribulation. Self-pity is our worst enemy, and if we yield to it, we can never do anything wise in this world. Sink no further by seeking sympathy for unintended misfortunes, wrongly magnified beyond proportion as intolerable injustice exclusive to you. For when heaven's apparent then, where sense squandering present prosperity, pinning over positions still repairable, or company long gone, now never returning regardless more tears shed. Lift gaze. The future stands accessible through learned lessons, propelling wounded into wisdom, nursed slowly into being through pain, transfiguring mortal into more shine graduating gold, emerging purified by flame. Allow adversity's privilege. Number 13. Living for pleasure and comfort. Reflect on whether lifestyle balances self-actualization with sensual enjoyment or disproportionately defaulting tragically into living for weekends, holidays, and retirements, postponing purpose, waiting upon fortune-first funding bucket lists, bound disappoint given life's impermanence, always sweeping certainty from beneath soap bubbles we blow, expecting permanence unpromised. Place people over places. Relationships trump recreation made meaningful through purity of presence, connecting travelers, ignoring itineraries, and consuming for consolation, lacking human intimacies, nourishing nutrition. No adventures overseas replace. Visualize rationally an era where accelerating headwinds from climate shifts and global volatility multiply, make short-sighted dependence on predictable stability and directionless leisure less feasible going forward. Then make necessary radical lifestyle design changes, leveraging relationships and intentional community locally supporting you more intelligently than isolating independence abroad, increasingly vulnerable amidst intensifying crosswinds of change and chaos coming. Stay centered. Set foundations not requiring castles. The years ahead demand agility to sail seas, whatever conditions swirling through skies darkening in unpredictable tempests, questioning faith in perpetual summer, once promised calming tropical waves, now warning sudden squalls advent, or only deeply rooted still standing tall, not swept so easily apart, through fury, fell wordlessly wailing while laden barks flounder without friend, when familiar harbors fade too far aft saving. Beware fair weather living. Fuse feed instead with earth awakening you her ethic native long before now. Grow consonant with nature, her wisdom's tender best insights guiding passages ahead. Listen. Number 14. Blaming others for our problems. Recognize the power still retained to change perception, response, and thus experience even amidst trials beyond initial control. Carefully reflect on tendencies making others responsible for emotional consequences based on your reactions to actions, words, or unintended realities like aging. Release expectations. Flow wisely with change. Visualize taking complete ownership for all interpretations and meanings projected onto circumstances. Recognizing projection's power always remains within to transform tragedy into comedy, obstacle into opportunity through shifting lens angles brought to bear, casting new light. The years ahead require resilience, refusing victim mentalities that disempower through demanding externals, accommodate uniquely beyond reason. But those fostering adaptability train through welcoming disruption as whetstones keeping wisdom's sword sharp, surmount tumult repeatedly. Adopt abundance mentality seeking gains and loss. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Recall fluid freedom to flip thoughts, judging relative meaning as kind or cruel, progressive or limiting, given inner frames of reference brought to passing situations. This alters everything. Command destiny consciously. Number 15. Trying to control things outside our power, the final area for development by 2024, requires relinquishing exhausting fixations, attempting to control external things ultimately outside your power, from other people's responses to systems and policies established without your input. Refocus efforts instead on controlling your own reactions, building local community, and leading by example. Carefully reflect on where limited energies concentrate, trying micromanaging matters unalterable in themselves, while neglecting personal governance more tied to outcomes through disciplined priorities, sustainable lifestyle, and virtuous relationship building. Perceive the sphere of influence with sober maturity. Improving life falls within reach through better self-direction. Visualize radical acceptance of trials and limitations arising, while channeling vigorous spirit proactively toward duties and service readily actionable through each day's small honorable choices opportunities. Express. Wisdom resides first, fostering health and understanding. View everyone sympathetically, without condemnation. They fall short your values or agenda. Lead others by living goods exemplified. As decades ahead challenge assumptions, daily existence, unfolding predictably. Avoid analysis paralysis, obsessing big-scale corrections through activism, politics, or revolution. Imposing vision good besieged all sides opposition. Progress flows gently grassroots. Stand steadfast light example multiplied microscopically, permeates consciousness cumulatively, curving history's arc slowly, where iron fists fail repeatedly. Patient cultivation enables lasting cultural transformation. If you are listening to this, thank you for staying till the end. If you feel any of these Stoic lessons resonated with you today, feel free to start a Stoic discussion in the comments. I welcome Stoic discussions as they are what the great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca advised for. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, and if you want more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.